So I'm Laura Badcock with Essential Wholesale in the Pacific Northwest of the United States. And I started with this company in 2004. It was a very small company at that point. I was the third employee. And Essential Wholesale grew as so many companies do, where they started in the kitchen. Yeah. They started making products for friends and family. Everybody started loving the products that the two owners at the time of Essential Wholesale were making. So we're now at 65,000 square feet and already are sardine packed. We are opening up a second building actually within a month. So that's kind of exciting. But I've watched this company go from a very small company to where we are now, which is 63 employees.
What are the benefits of contract manufacturing for a beauty brand?
That's a great question. There's actually so many. If you were my client, mm-hmm. I would absolutely remind you that inventory is one of the biggest expenses in your business. I would say one of the biggest benefits of having a contract manufacturer is inventory. Mm-hmm. For example, we can buy things on pallet loads. The more quantity you purchase, the cheaper the inventory becomes, right? Mm-hmm. So, for example, I could buy a kilogram of Rose Absolute for $5,000, but what small brand is going to buy a kilo of Rose Absolute for that much money? So they start buying on Amazon instead in these little tiny bottles, and they're not necessarily getting the best quality either. So a contract manufacturer, a good one, looks into the origin of every ingredient that they purchase. They know the entire history of that ingredient, where it started, where it is now, paperwork upon paperwork. We have a minimum of 26 different types of papers that we ask every vendor to send us when we purchase an ingredient. So I would say inventory for sure. Mm-hmm. Not having to spend money on inventory other than what you're actually going to be selling is a huge, huge part of it. You can't just take a formula from the 1 kilogram that you make in your lab and scale it up to 500 kilograms by just multiplying every ingredient by 500. It just doesn't work that way.
No, I've learned that in baking, actually.
And that is actually, thank you for bringing that up. That's always my analogy. I say, listen, if you're going to make a chocolate cake and you need to make it for 100 people, you definitely do not multiply your baking soda, your sodium bicarbonate, by that amount, because your cake will just taste like baking soda. So yeah, exactly. It's just like baking. And a lot of people don't realize that. And why should they? They've never had to make 500 kilograms of a product. So a lot of times they'll come in, we'll sit down, we'll chat with them about their formula. Oftentimes there's a preservative missing because they want to be preservative free. Obviously, we walk them through the whole, you don't want to have skin-eating bacteria in your products. And so we just walk them through every step that we would do as a manufacturer to get their product to be successful as a formula.